Another example of the jobs thing, as I think I heard in Georgia when they passed this law, there's a labor shortage for farm work now. Like they don't have enough workers to work the farms anymore. So there's that, like, that's right there is bullshit. You know, that like immigrants are taking the jobs because like no one's filling them.
Well, immigrants are taking the money for their own detention because the state is, their tax dollars are going towards paying for that. So that would be a point where you can concede.
And also, something else that now you remind me is that, you know, when we do an immigration process to come to be able to have legal immigration status, that is not a free service. Okay, we need to pay. And first, it was like $75 to be a permanent resident in the 80s and before the 80s. But in the 90s, they increased the fee. And now it's like over $400 or more that we need to pay to immigration. Who is taking into account how much money immigration is raising from the immigrant community who want to be legal in the United States? I say legally because that's the term you use, but if you want to have a document proving that you have an immigration status, immigration doesn't give you anything free. We have to pay for every single process that we do, even though, and I will speak about the Central America, because Nicaragua, Honduras, and Salvadorian were granted temporary protected status. That means that you are allowed to work in the United States, to have a social security, but every 18 months you need to renew your work authorization and you need to pay to immigration a fee, okay? And that fee, it has been not going down, have been increasing. And that's what, this happened in 1999 when Hurricane Mitch struck Central America, and those who were here were able to apply for that status, okay? And that community, since 1999, have been paying to immigration to be able to have their immigration temporary. They are not eligible for anything else, only to be able to work.
How long do you have to wait to be able to apply for permanent?
Through TPS, you don't. It's only a temporary status that is being extended because it depends on the condition of your country. And Central America is not getting better; it's getting worse because it's not only the Mitch hurricane happened, but also after in El Salvador was another earthquake, and the conditions are not there for people to go back. And that's another area that, you know, we need to check how much money and who is keeping an account how much money we are contributing through the immigration process that we have to pay.
I have recently met through Defensa Comunitaria some very brave young people who say they are undocumented and unafraid. And many of them have done sit-downs in the streets, particularly in Atlanta, on the issue of the DREAM Act, and for opportunity as undocumented or without paper to attend education. But I've been a little concerned about the tie-in of the military to the DREAM Act, which somehow seems to be tracking young immigrants into the military under the guise of giving them a status if they survive military service. And does that always, does the military honor that commitment all times? And is that a good, how do you feel about it?
First, I need to clarify that the DREAM Act hasn't passed, even though it's been in Congress for more than 10 years. And those who begin the struggle trying to get that immigration status through that proposal, they haven't been able to fulfill that dream because it's not a law, it's only a bill that is pending, and it was didn't pass last year, and it hasn't passed yet. But it's, some people have no support that bill because it was tied to the military, and also that is those who need to go to college after high school, because you are able to go to high school in the United States, but if you don't have an immigration status, you're not able to go to college. And if you are lucky that you find places that are allow you to go to college, sometimes they charge you like a tuition that is out of your possibilities to pay. Then the Dream Act hasn't passed, and the students are getting tired not to have the possibility or the chance to continue with their study, and that's why they are doing the kind of demonstration that happened not only in Atlanta, but I think they did it in Chicago and in California. And I really feel that they are giving up doing this kind of demonstration, but everyone has the freedom to choose how you're going to let your situation know. I support everyone who feels comfortable to say, okay, I don't have any immigration status, and that doesn't mean I am a criminal. I really would like to and have been a part of this society, because that's the other sad part of the immigrant youth in the United States, that they didn't have any say coming to this country, because some of them were babies when their parents choose to come. Then it's not their fault that they are here. And that's why I believe that we need to support the struggle for them to be recognized a part of the society and not a part of the being out of the law because they don't have an immigration status, when it was not their choice to be here.
I just want to speak to that a little bit too. I know some of the students in Chicago that just got arrested a week and a half ago, and it was because they outed themselves and were able to create so much community support around being undocumented, unafraid, and the last one is unapologetic, that they were let out in bail within 24 hours. And then there was like so much political pressure by supportive communities that actually became their strength. And had they not been publicly outing themselves in a blockade, they walked out of a hearing because of the recent change with us communities in Chicago, secure communities. And they were at a public hearing and they said, we're not going to participate in the system. This isn't actually what's empowering us. We're not going to be able to change this here, so we're publicly walking out and did a blockade right in the middle of the street. And were arrested, but it was because of how much publicity they were able to get in naming that immigration wasn't able to go after them. Being youth, coming when they were 1 and 2 years old, and then also being from different countries. So it was, the face of immigration right now is often looked at as Mexican immigrants, but from El Salvador, like people from all over Latin America, but then also the world. They had a lot of folks from East Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East who were also there, and also got arrested. So.
And that's, it's something that it's good that you mentioned it's not only Mexicans who are immigrants, it's people from everywhere that immigrate to the United States and for different reasons, but most of the time because of the condition in your country that force you to leave. And that's why I'm trying to push the human part, that we are human beings. And on the what love are we illegal in this part of the world, that it belongs to everyone, and it doesn't belong to one specific race. It's the human race, and that's also the part that we need to emphasize. That now, if you do it for me, who's going to come behind and help me to get out of the trouble? I'm glad that the students in Chicago were able to get no charge, because that's the other part that is, as an immigrant, even though I have an immigration status, if I do civilian disobedience, they can put me in the protection proceeding and take my immigration status away. And that's why I feel a little bit concerned about the students taking this step, because if they are charged with misdemeanor or felony, you are closing the door for immigration status, because if you want to follow through the immigration law, you're going to be out of luck if you're being charged with either 2 misdemeanors or felony. And that's what I said, that also we need to know that taking the steps that can later on in life can affect the immigration process.